Hey, how's it going? Okay, so we're back, and what I'm going to do now is start work on this again. So I'm only going to start with one gun and kind of go from there. So what I want to do is select here, here, and here, 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 and here, and I'm going to detach as a clone and call it the gun base. Now, just select until I actually get the gun base up, and if I affect my pivot, set it to object, I can now bring it back in. And let me see, I want to Control A, just make sure I select them both, flip, select by border, quickly do that, and then cap, actually no, not cap, bridge, no, not even bridge then, Control A, and a second, I'll just hide unselected. Right, here's my original polygons. What I need to do now is start just kind of linking them together. I think I'll have to detach these again. Let's do it quickly now. There we go, and detach. Hide unselected. Right, that gives us these pieces. Now, Control A and just flip. It sticks them the other way around. And then if I select here and just bridge them, that gives me the piece the right shape again. Unhide all. Now, if I go to my effect pivot, send to object, effect pivot off, and that into about there, and then that down to about there. This is going to act as our initial pivot for the gun. Get my left-hand viewport, press F3 and zoom. Convert to editable poly. And let's just start straightening up all our edges. Turn off ignore back facing. And that way we can get this nice and level. Then over here, oops, wrong one. Straighten up these verts. Makes it a lot easier if you straighten them up. There we go. And then again over here. Okay. And pull back. I'll just take that one out and just do a backspace. And if I drop into perspective, I can see there's a couple of pieces here that are going to need more than a little bit of fixing, but that's okay. What I'll do is I'll just target weld this to here. That was a Control Z, by the way, in case you're wondering. Get rid of this edge here. Quick backspace. Just quickly rush around my model, making sure that it actually holds up. And it looks like it does. Okay, sorry for anyone that just deafened there, by the way. So now we have to work out the overall length and height of our gun. So base will come up to there. Bring that to there. Extrude it again. And I'm just going to move this edge here up. And check the overall length there, and that's where it'll go into the magazine. Now over here, pull that out, and then that. Bring this up. Okay, that's fine. Now I'm going to bring this along to about there. And that's where our main barrel is going to rest on. Okay, now over here, I've got to be very careful on how wide I make this. If you don't know what I mean, it's just if I make this piece too wide, obviously it's not going to work for us. So okay, bring that bit out like so, and back here like that. Yeah, if it's too wide, basically these cannons are kind of going to knock into each other, and that's not going to work at all for us. So I've got to be really careful when I do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build my first one, and then I'm going to instance it. So that'll kind of work a lot better for us. First up, I'm going to do a ring there and a connect. Right, now up here, extrude that piece to about there, and then take off this side. Now hinge from edge, and we're going to do 180 degrees and 8 segs. Now then, that doesn't look the way I want it to, so it could mean that the X form needs a reset. I'll just do it over here. See if that made any difference whatsoever. And it did. So it definitely was the X form, but that's okay. We fixed that piece now. Now then up here, I'm going to want to take away some of these edges that I've just created. So first things first, I'm going to select here and do a loop, backspace to get rid of it. And then I'm going to marquee select those and just backspace. That gets rid of them. Now, I've got to see how many I want here, because I want to flatten the top and the sides. So target weld there. This way we keep the inside shape, by the way. That's the main reason I'm doing this. And then here. Before I do anything else, something I did forget, is to delete that. Just Control A and a quick weld. There, and that sorts that problem out. Now back to target welding again. Okay, so note we've got this nice sharp kind of shape at the top here. It's a little bit too high up. It looks a bit like a Presbyterian church, so just dump that down. There we are. Now what I can do just over this side is get rid of some of these bits that I don't need. And then I could just use the cut tool. There we go. And now I can get rid of this one. Just cut straight across the middle. There. Okay. Now, here, do a secondary extrude to there. And then I'm just going to grab here and here, bring them up. Another extrude. Then another small one. And back again. Take off this piece. Now where I would normally go and put things like firing handles and things, at the back here I'm going to put basically cables to a computerized control system. It's not a cop-out, it's just otherwise we'd have to have 3 gunners. Now over here, in my left viewport, I'm just going to bring this piece here back to about there. That way we have an angle so that we can actually bank this up and down based on its pivot point, which is quite important to be honest, otherwise we can't fire it up and down. Okay, now we're getting the overall kind of rough basic shape here. I don't like that polygon, it looks like there's a problem with it, so I'm just going to quickly delete it and build a new one. There we go, that one looks better. Okay, now over here, where we have this kind of shape going on here, still not 100% sure if I like that shape or not. Just to continue on with, this is all about kind of experimentation. I think I'm going to simplify this shape the same way that I simplified the top piece there. So just a quick case of target welding. Aha. There's an error in there which I need to clean up. Fortunately, it's easily cleanable. we go. Oops, I was welding the wrong way there. And now just weld these ones down, there and there. Now I'm going to do a cut across there, second target weld to there. Okay, and that gives us plenty of space now to kick off our next piece. Oops, started a clone by mistake there. So looking at the overall shape that I've got, I'm going to build a cylinder, a four-sided cylinder, which is basically like a cube, from the middle here, well, square anyway. Like that. Now I can adjust the sides. Okay, that's working out for me. Check it's on all sides, kind of getting there. Convert to editable poly. And I'm just going to grow this out. Control I to delete the back face and delete it. Just looking around this piece. Let's bring it down a bit. There we go. Let's bring that up. And at the top here, I'm going to just extrude it up a little bit. And then again, let's bring this piece in like that. Just to add a bit of kind of new shape to this. I quite like some of the shapes you can come up with if you're just messing around with Max. Okay, go around the other side and just delete these extraneous polygons I've created. It'll make things easier for us in just a moment. And select here. Now, create shape from selection, linear, weld, seam. You may remember we did this before. Press H and find our weld seam. Enabling viewport and renderer, and give it 4 sides. Then reduce thickness a lot. There we go. That creates our weld to attach it with. Maybe make it just a tiny bit smaller. Convert to editable poly. Right, now just go and select the parts we want to keep. And Control I, delete the back ones. Yay. Okay, and then just attach this. Then attach that to the other piece. And now we've got this nice big bit here. Now I want to do a small insert, not big enough to to kind of break the model, which is what was just happening there. Just have to create a small ridge, extrude, a very, very small bevel. Like so. Okay, and now we're just about ready to start building the gun barrel itself coming out of this. So for that, I'm going to take this polygon here, and I'm going to detach it as a clone. Whee! Sorry, I just like playing around with these things sometimes. Okay, do a mesh smooth, that way we get this middle point here. And this middle point here, just chamfer out like that. Quick mesh smooth. This is one of the ways I like doing things sometimes. I'm a strange guy. Click grow. Okay, and now we've got our basic barrel shape there. Control I. Just delete the back pieces off. Yay, isn't this fun? Alright, let's just do some target welding. I'm just trying to find as many different ways to show you stuff, ways of doing things as possible, really. You don't have to do this way. As you know yourself, there's a billion easier ways of doing it. However, my job's to show you some of them, so... And that was one of the things I always used to do back before Editable Poly hit 3D Studio Max, which was what, version 3? 3.5? Something like that. Anyway, I think Editable Poly really kicked off in Max around about... oh god, when was it now? Effect pivot only, set object. I think it was Max 4. It wasn't Max 5, it was Max 4. Because that's when Nolan started making the stuff for us. And I think that's when we all realised the kind of fun stuff you could do with 3ds Max. Before that, though, I mean, we had to use editable mesh for fast results, and that wasn't as easy at all. So just select that polygon there, and an extrude. Now an inset, and then a small extrude. So let's get this right. So it's going to be about 0.75 in this instance. Then an inset of minus 0.5. No, hang on then. A zero length bevel then. With 0.5 with a height of 0. Apply. Then a height of 1.5, an outline amount of 0. Apply. See how much fun this is. Minus 0.5 again. 0.75. 0. 0.5? No. 0 again. 0.5 out. How many of these do I do now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Height of 0. Bevel. This is why I prefer doing it freehand, to be quite honest. Minus 0.5. I know people will be going, hooray, he's actually doing it the long way, but God, I hate doing it the long way. There. Okay, so we've got it out like that now. Just check our barrel down there. That looks fine. So I'm going to do a bevel now. Just check the overall size of this piece. Yeah, I'm getting a bit concerned that this piece isn't really kind of big enough or chunky enough for what I'm looking at the moment. So I think I'm going to attach these pieces onto here. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to scale this bit up a bit, just on the top here. So I'm just going to make sure I don't have all these pieces here selected. Let's see. Yeah, I should probably reset the X form on this as well. I'll probably have to just move that piece around, that piece separately. That's okay. Just gonna get it to a good size. Okay. Deselect that part. That way I can bring this bit out. From an perspective. That's better. Much chunkier. I can just move that back into position again. Grab my weld seam. And move that to about there. Okay, that rescued it from being a bit too small, thankfully. Because it was. Next, back into here again. Before we do though, that was a non-uniform scale, so do a quick reset. This barrel needs to be brought down a bit. Okay, now back on here, and I'm going to do a small bevel, then a 0 length bevel, just to bring that up like that, then another small bevel, and out. Now I'm going to bring it in. Over to there. Okay, now I'm going to build our first long piece of barrel just all the way along to about there. Now what I need to do over here is, if I can just quickly do a connect, run straight through there, and I'm going to bring this back to about here and build some clamps that basically hold the barrel on. So it looks, I say looks, like we've actually got a kind of detachable, serviceable part. I mean, we don't really, but that's what we want it to look like. So I'm going to get rid of this small bit here, do a small extrude. Actually, before I do that, I'll put that piece back. I better select the pieces I'm going to extrude out. It'll be that piece, that piece, that piece, and that piece. Okay, like that. Now, this is a case of just getting in nice and close, really. And just use the Z to zoom in if you have problems. Just take out those ones. And there. Now, see, we can now bridge those pieces there like that. We get a little bit just here of kind of overflow that we don't want, but we can get rid of that in just a minute, so don't worry. And it does give us a very nice effect. Okay, now, if I just kill these pieces out. Means I can now cap that bit. See? Just doing them one at a time just to make sure. Make sure there's no parts in here that shouldn't be. Sometimes you have to do a bit of tidying up, unfortunately. Looks like this is one of those cases. So a quick target weld. Or as they say, if it's easy, it's not 3D, so cap. Yep, that works. Okay, so it just needs a little bit of a target weld at the same time. As I say, there's only 4 of these, so it won't take us very long. It's quite tricky because this one's on the inside, you see. There we are. Line it up so I can see the other one. Then set the target weld. There we go. And there should be one left, which is here. So spin round to this side. Okay, and there we go. Okay, if we zoom out now, we've got the kind of basic piece over there on the end of our gun working okay. Now I'm going to go over here while scratching my nose and do a quick bevel. Because I'm going to have to do this again, I'll just do a simple one. I'm not going to do a complex bevel this time. Like so. Now do a small bevel. Then out. In again. Like that, and out. Okay. It's quite good fun concentrating on what you're doing and trying to talk simultaneously. As anyone who's ever made a video tutorial doing kind of my method of on-the-fly style will attest, I would imagine. Okay, there we are. Still think I'm going to have to increase the size of this quite a bit. I'm still not 100% happy with its size. However, I'll work on that in a minute. For the moment, quick rotate and scale up. Quick, easy and cheaty way of doing this. I spent ages, I think it was like a month trying to work out an easy way of doing that. Then I thought, well, I'll rotate and scale. And it worked. I was like, yes! Right, insane. And extrude back. 0. Like that. And then scale it. On the y-axis. There we are. And onto a bevel. Just this time we'll bevel it the correct way. Okay, and that gives us that shape at the end there. I'm not going to start refining it until I've got the length that I want, because this is still, as I say, in size rather than length. This is a little bit short for what I want. However, I think there's actually a way I can do this. So, just take these bits, bring them up a bit like that, and then take these parts, move them up to about there. Now then, I want to bring them out to, that seems about the right width. Let's have a look. Maybe slightly less. Okay, that actually looks okay. Now, I'm just going to bring this up onto there. Now, over here, where this piece is, bring this up to there. And if I just select here, just loop it, just bring it out. Got to loop it all the way around first. There we go, try that. Yeah, that seems to be working okay. Just going to increase the level of fatness at the top here as well. Okay, and that creates our first rough piece. Don't get me wrong, it needs quite a bit of cleanup in order to work, but it's getting there, and that's what matters. Just bring this down a little. There we are. Yep, that's working great. Now, over here then. Now that I've done the adjustments. Quick reset X form. Trust me, you'll thank me for doing it later. Okay. Click there and there. And again here and here. Okay, what's the stupid option have I selected by mistake? Ah, there it is. Now, do a quick bridge. And cap. There we are. Okay, and that's given us our rough shape in there. Now then, in the top here, I want to do some carve outs. So, this is a case for box. Convert to editable poly. Control A to select all of those fellows, and I'm going to chamfer them. Not much, just a little bit. There we are. And then I'm going to make, oopsie daisy, some copies of these. There we are. Drop into perspective and have a quick check over. Hold down Control and multiple select. Okay, next. Attach all these together. Then selecting this main piece. Back off to our compound objects boolean. Pick operand B. And just cut ourselves some holes in our model. Convert to editable poly. There we go. I love how random it gets when you use a good old boolean. However, what I tend to do is what I'm doing now, which is just work in strips. There we are. And what I'm doing here is basically just rebuilding the insides now that I've cut away the piece that we were using as our cutter. This will give me a much easier time because I should, in theory, be able to just cap it. So if I just select by border and then cap like that, see? Okay, now we've got some chamfering to do, unfortunately for us. So convert to, no, I don't need to convert to. I need to hide unselected. And we'll do some chamfering in the next section. Woohoo! So thanks for watching. See you in the next bit.